Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play HOI4 Kaiserreich Ottoman Empire. Let us continue on from where we last left off. So it's almost 1937, we've almost gone through the very first year of the game. And I was looking at the situation down here in Arabia, and I don't think we want troops in Hejaz. Mostly because if they get cut off from, like, let's say Egypt quickly advances through here, cuts these guys off from supplies, that would be, I think, really bad. Huey Long's been elected president of the United States. So we're going to definitely be seeing a four-way civil war. And I don't think either way really matters for us. Elections for the Provincial Assembly. Well, the old administration, councils for the vilayets already had elections. Many are in disagreement with the rules imposed on possible candidates. Only males 30 years and older who paid a sum of 150 pasters in direct yearly taxes or who spoke the Ottoman language were to be considered for the opposition and had to be selected by an electoral commission. This commission was made up of the Kazu Raduru, the Qadi, the Mutafi, and the Imam, Qazi scribes, and religious leaders of non-Muslim residents. These would present a list of candidates to the next administration level, which would remove one-third of the candidates before moving it up to the next administration level, where again remove one-third. The final list would then be used to select council members who would serve the Wali for 2 years for a new election were to be held. The new system would open up elections for all Ottoman males aged 18 and above, with a candidacy of 30. Elected members would then directly serve in the Prince's Assembly. Some of the more progressive parliament members, however, are requesting that we extend the same rights to women, receiving great opposition from the conservatives, who see this as another affront to the Caliph and by extension of all of Islam. Supported for once in this is their Christian counterparts. So we can either elect women's suffrage, which means that the independents will join the opposition, 30 conservatives will join against us. Well, I mean, what do we have right now? Because right now the conservatives are at 55, 50, and I think the independents right now are at 0, so they don't matter even remotely. So you know what, let's enact women's suffrage. A handful of women are going to be opposing us, or a handful of conservatives, I should say, will be opposing us, but it's not so bad. We still, I think, have, 172 seats. We might want to revert social reforms. Stability goes down, which is not great. ANI has won the Italian election. We'll probably see the Italian Federation break apart a little bit in a moment. Whether or not it goes into a civil war, I don't know. We got 2 technologies done. You are going to get the Turkish nationalists join the opposition. Again, none of the Turkish nationalists actually support us, so it's not actually a major concern for us. After that, it's 1936 still, but I mean it's almost 1937, so we might as well go for the next level industry techs. Just because they're always nice to have. I mean, is there anybody else that we want to get on our side? The Arab nationalists already like us, 60 to 22, or 60 to 26. Turkish nationalists already will hate us. And the independents, I don't think we can ever get them to support us. I mean, there's no option here to have them support us at least. Social liberalism goes down, stability goes down. I mean, our stability is only at 6%, which is not great. Our popularity of socialism goes down by 10%. But the thing with 30 is that there's only 26 in opposition. And there's only 26 in opposition. These are actually not as effective as they otherwise would be. So I'm really not too sure. We still have enough support. Apparently it looks like 124 is the minimum if you want to hold early elections. But right now I think we're looking fine. I believe that's the National Populists have won the election in Brazil. Argentina is probably going to go into war with Chile very, very soon as well. Still got Niger. We're hoping that Circassia stays on our side. Egypt might try to overthrow them. When can you actually do this? You can do this in January 1st. So January 1st, then the Egyptians are going to be doing some of these focuses. Not great for the obvious reason that they want to come kill us. Privatization of state monopolies. Formed in large part during the statist period of 1920 to 1931, much of our nation's economy rests in the hands of a few large state companies. As this goes against the liberal principles and ruins the possibility for private initiative, the Chamber of Deputies earlier today voted on their abolition and the privatization of the market. The question remains, however, as to what degree should we open this up to foreign investors, as many fear that by ceding control, vital parts of our Ottoman economy could once again fall into the hands of Western powers to the detriment of our people. Drawing this potential threat, they propose that only investors within the Ottoman nationality can partake in the process and that foreign companies willing to invest in the market are obliged to utilize Ottoman manpower. So, We get 1 civilian factory, or we get 3% stability. You're a 10% stability drop, which I think seems pretty bad. So I'll take the 3% stability. You have to be an Ottoman citizen in order to participate in the Ottoman market. I mean, it's not so bad. It's somewhat reasonable if we want. I mean, we literally just had Black Friday like 3 months ago, so you know what I mean? Like, come on now. The collapse of the Persian Gulf economy seems pretty bad. Reports have reached the Wali of Basra that several of the Persian Gulf states have been hit especially hard by the economic depression in Europe, and this caused shockwaves in the entire social structure. Many of these states, such as Dubai, are also entirely dependent on the pearl fishing industry and have the European continent as their main markets. With the rise in popularity of cheaper Japanese substitutes, the market received its first hit during the 20s, but the conflict between the state and the Middle European bloc ensured a steady demand for the Gulf. Now that the demand has almost overnight evaporated, the entire industry is on the brink of collapse. Whilst this is of course unfortunate for the Arabs in the region, this catastrophe has forced us to force them closer to the Ottoman state in our internal market. Upon request of several sheikhs and emirs, the TPC, the Turkish Petroleum Company, has opened talks to discuss the possibility of oil exploration along the coast and expand its operations in the Gulf. So we get political power, Basra will decrease, everyone else is very upset with us. And also we do a focus. Yeah, could you break up statement out, please? Encourage private industry. What do you do for us? Research speed goes up, which is not horrible. This one's not great because the Ottomans are going to absolutely despise us. Or not the Ottomans, the Kaiserreichs will despise us. But not enough, I think, to go below the penalty rate. So we got 25, which definitely will keep us over 124. So you know what? Let's revise the Marcel. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it. I really don't know. The Empire celebrates Eid al-Fitr. Today is the first day of Ramazan Biyaramami, and the festival of breaking of the fast. After fasting for a month during the Ramadan, all of Islam is celebrating this joyous occasion. In most households, the men attend morning prayers in the mosque, and they come home to find lavish breakfast prepared. It is also customary to eat either dates or some sweets before attending the prayers. For many households, this is the first breakfast served after sunrise in the last 30 days, and the younger people in the household's son, daughters, grandchildren traditionally kiss the hands of the elders as the elder presents them with a gift. The gift is usually money or gold coins wrapped in handkerchiefs. I definitely take the gold coins in that option. 3-day celebration are organized in hierarchical manner. The first day is reserved for family members. It is tradition for the younger ones to visit and pay respect to the elders. Then more distant family and neighbors must be visited. It is a time for hugs and kisses. It is also a time for broken hearts to be mended. If there are people who have held an argument, Eid is to consider the time to make peace. Another famous part of the festivities include the sweet taste of Turkish delight. These treats are offered to guests who visit, as well as to neighboring children who run door to door accepting candy or cash. Again, cash is definitely the preferable option there. In addition, Ramadan's famous drummers visit neighborhoods in the morning. It is customary for the residents of the street to tip the drummer for service throughout the month. Okay, fantastic. I mean, I think Turkish Delight is pretty good. I don't know how often you sell it, or how many people actually sell it, but I mean, I don't think I've had it in a while, but I do definitely think it's worth trying if you haven't. The Iraqi question. The valiates of Iraq, Mosul, Baghdad, and Basra have long proven difficult to govern effectively due to the limited autonomy of the Walis, relying far too much direct orders from the capital and the abysmal revenues. So part of the issues in establishing strong rule over the border provinces throughout the 19th century, multiple requests for the merger of the valiates into a larger Iraqi unit were refused time upon time to avoid creating a power block that could threaten the central government. In 1926, however, with the collapse of the British Empire and the reannexation of Basra and Kuwait, the valiates of Basra and Baghdad would be united and placed under the direction of a single wali. Under Yashin al-Hashimi in 1928, the Mosul wali will furthermore be placed under command of his Baghdadi colleague, and with the Solomadiya region, inhabited by the Sunni Kurds, separated. With most of Iraq, as such, brought under the central command structure, many questions is supposed to happen to the Valiate. The Valiate law has been revised. Some argue that it should remain a singular bloc to provide a stable frontier against the Persians, while others believe that that due to its relatively large and diverse population, it should be split into the Sunni and Shia parts, both with their own provincial assemblies. The question of the Assyrian people in Basra are also remains a sore point, as separating them into a separate entity would please the Syrians, but lead to issues with a larger Shiite population. One united Iraq. Have them in 4 different regions. We'll have them, but here, okay. Here's my thing, because we know that Iraq can rise up during the Egyptian War. So if I separate into 4 different regions, are they less likely to do that or more likely to do that? Or is having one united Iraq going to make them more likely to stay unified under us, because now I'm going to do it because I wanted to get it done. But now we have 100% support from the Arab nationalist. A large autonomy of Arab people, they see this as a dual monarchy in Turks and the Arabs, whilst others see this as a creation of an independent Arab state as a sole solution. One thing is certain, however, cooperating with the Kemalists is absolutely impossible, as they view their policy of Turkish imperialism, the death of Islam, and the downfall of Arab civilization. I mean, I've done all that I can. Like, you all support us as much as possible. Basra will increase. Trouble is starting to brew in Basra as the Assyrian minority feels that it's underrepresented in the Baghdadi Provincial Assembly, and once more demands the creation of a Syrian autonomous region around the city in Basra. These demands have been met with less than positive reception by the Arab and Turkish population of the region, who fear that a separation of the two valiates will lead to them becoming a minority within their own homeland. Looking wearily at the influence exerted by the Emirates and the Darizi people of Mount Lebanon. Just deny the request. I mean, Basra is... You? Yeah, you're Basra. Okay. Just near Kuwait. Mexico's war in Yucatan. So I believe that means Mexico has gone national populist. So they'll probably go towards joining the Entente, I would imagine. Wait, what did you seize? Republic of Rhine seizes Hangam Island. Although Hangam Island, just south of the Persian Gulf, is on paper belongs to the Persian state, the island is de facto ruled by the Sheikh Ahmed di Abun bin Juma, the father-in-law of the Sheikh of Dubai. As part of their shift of foreign policy to take a more assertive and anti-Ottoman stance, the government of Tehran has decided to push its luck in the Straits of Hormuz. Earlier this week, the Sheikh and his entourage were expelled from the island, sent packing to their families in Dubai, and a custom post was installed proudly waving a Persian flag. While the diplomatic objective has been made by our government against the Persian aggression, there thus far has been no plans to escalate the small border conflict to any further punitive action. In Dubai, however, outrage against this move in Tehran has led many to question the capability of the Ottoman government to defend the interests in the Gulf and their sheikh for easily submitting to the Persian ploys. So I'm assuming that's this island right here. I don't know what other island it could possibly be. And increasing unrest in Bahrain, which I understand. We did. No, you're Dubai. You're Bahrain. No, you're Bahrain. Yeah. Increasing unrest in Bahrain, prompted by increasing interest in the Persian government in the affairs of the Shia majority island of the coast of Al-Hassa, there's been a noted increase in anti-Ottoman and anti-Sunni sentiment. Further coupled by the pro-trade catastrophe response by the Sheikh to the decreasing living status of its population, the island has been rocked by a wave of protests calling for reform and equal representation. More disturbing than the Persian overtures, however, is the increasing radio sets tuning into Radio Free Cairo, spreading Arab nationalist propaganda, calling for all Arab people to overthrow the Turkish yoke. I have 100% support from the Arab nationalists in Congress, okay? I've done everything you would want me to. So I don't know what else you want from me, okay? We still don't have a majority, which probably isn't great. Now we need aluminum, but I don't think we need aluminum that badly right now. You know, let's go for construction 2. Basically get all of our industry tax. Again, we're still about a year and a half, maybe even 2 years away from the actual war breaking out. So we have time to kind of consolidate our realm as much as we possibly can. Also, we might be able to take some territory from Bulgaria sooner rather than later, depending on what's going to be happening with Serbia. When can we form the bloc? Cars of Belgrade. Once he's done one of these things, and I don't think these happen until about May-ish. Well, we do want to get intervening in the Bulgarian war, capture our core territories of these two states, and we should be looking pretty good. There's a lot of... Have you noticed how many events there are for the Ottoman Empire? There's actually, like, quite a bit. After that, I guess we'll go for equality before the law. Conservatives will join the opposition. Who cares? Like, they already hate us. Revision of the Ottoman Civil Code. The Civil Code we have used since the Tasmanian era, or the Masali Code was first codified in 1877. Based on the Islamic Hanafi legal tradition, the code was first encouraged to have a unified law under all Ottoman citizens who previously, according to the Millet system, used their own codes. For decades, this code has remained mostly unchanged and is in the eyes of many still an ancient relic of a bygone era, and it is based on Islamic law. Many of the reformers have protested against it as they feel that religious law has no place in a modern secular state. Christian and Jewish citizens who previously used their own legal system were discontent with it as well, and urged the government to reform, if not outright replace the dated code. For some, however, the issue lies not within the code itself, which is a solid document and perfectly applicable to Sunni Muslim subjects of the empire. They believe that the problem is that the non-Muslim subjects are also being tried under it, and that instead of enforcing a Sharia-based legal system to all citizens, various communities should have the ability to govern their own affairs. Therefore, they propose to introducing a secular civil code, which deliberately be left abstract so that on a local level, the various millets can choose to fill in the gaps and govern themselves according to their own traditions and needs. Others see it as a catastrophe in the making, as many of the mercy in the 19th century was to get rid of legal complexities and put all citizens under one code of law. They instead proposed to introduce a new secular Ottoman civil code, which would be used by all citizens no matter their religion. Which would make all citizens equal under the law, something that is receiving great support from the benches of the OFH. So circus citizen goes up. We complete equality before the law for free. Which, I mean, 30 will leave the... But we already have 0, right? We can't go below 0. So you know what? Just get this focus done for free. Thank you. They now got equality before the law. We can't do this because we don't have a majority yet. Which I will admit is a problem. Anything else we can do? I mean, we can import tariffs. And you're the Ottoman army. We can't do that until we've balanced the budget. We can't balance the budget until this focus here. Okay. And we need 204. We need a majority basically to do anything at this point. I wonder if you'll give us any support. I don't know. But let's encourage private initiative. You know what? No. Don't do this. 'Cause I mean, if we get this done, we can't repeal the unification degree until we have a majority anyway. So let's try to fix our depression right now and get more support from the conservatives and from basically everybody. Because right now we need about 70 people, I believe, to join our side. Stability goes down. Like that. I don't want stability to decrease. But we're at 56% right now. Right now we're negative 15%. For every 20 deputies will be increased. You know what? Then we are 30. Can I get better than 30 anywhere else? What are the Arabs? $10 deputies. You're 30. I mean, you're all. That's 4 factories for 200 days. Which is all of our factories we actually have free right now for, was that 30? We did get more popularity afterwards, so you know what? Let's do it. So that brings us up to 203. Well, yeah, we'll do this one as well. So now we're at 233. We're only missing like 15 people. No, 16 people. Then we can actually have majority in the parliament. And violence in Bursa. The ancient capital of the Ottoman Empire, the city of Bursa is located on the ethnically fairly diverse region close to the capital. Nonetheless, a Turkish core with strong loyalties to Islam lives on and around the city, which has caused issues in the past with the more liberal ideas reaching the table. A protest action organized by the Brothers of Muhammad to fight the government on their leniency towards secularists and the increasing power enjoyed by the minorities escalated earlier today as a detachment of Germandre was forced to intervene to protect various Greek and Armenian shops and their assets. Outraged and convinced that the government through this clearly shows that they favor heathens over Muslims, they only became more aggressive. Ultimately, Germandre was forced to open fire, killing 4 and wounding 2 dozen more. Faced with an overpowering firepower, the protest quickly disintegrated, but the event left a scar on many Muslims in the region that will be hard to heal. Isn't Basra like Basra? It's right here, but you can't rebel against us, right? Like, I've never seen this rebel against... Could all this, like, rebel towards Turkey? Or rebel towards Greece if I do something off? I don't actually know how this might work, to be quite honest. But if we can get, again, like 20 more people. We're getting you guys done, but I can't. You're already at maximum. Protest in Konya and Mosul. God, I just spent points on you, you assholes. Protest in Konya and Mosul. Being out of sympathy for the Brethren in Busra, similar protests shook Konya and Mosul this week as opposition against the Muslims against the Grand Vizier kept mounting. The Vizier nonetheless made sure to entertain the people of Istanbul, a public display of piety to ward off any naysayers, and to seize and switch to its user rhetoric up with more references to Islam. Most politicians have been forced to be careful when it comes to matters of religion, most notably under Grand Vizier Mustafa Kemal, who was infamous for his less than ideal remarks on the subject. The situation seems to become more inflammable due to the events in Jerusalem. Pan-Islam, the weapon of both Ahmad II and the CUP, now seems to be turning in against itself, its institutional power, instead of protecting them. So, I just spent 5 stability points on this focus. Okay, at least you're not actually affecting us too much. Turkish nationalists open up their offensive. Keenly aware of the escalating situation in the office of the Grand Vizier, the Turkish nationalists have embarked on their full offensive against the HIF and its leader. Blaming him for the economic recession, insinuating that his horse is more pious than himself, and openly questioning his policy of the Grand Vizier. The speeches in Parliament, or pamphlets, have been eagerly diffused by the various newspapers and media outlets associated with the old OHF. Whilst the inherent hypocrisy of these remarks coming from the wing of Parliament that has done nothing but advocate for secularism these last few years is striking, their words are greatly devastating the reputation of the Vizier, whose position within the coalition is becoming more fragile by the day. Well, luckily at least we're already at 0% with conservatives, so what else could possibly happen? But I do think that for right now, this is going to be a good time for us to end this episode. So thank you for watching. My name is Anthnwam. If you enjoyed, give me a thumbs up. Not enjoyed, click some down. If you want to see more, subscribe. And goodbye.